I stopped inheriting my father's legacy. It's been 2 years since my dad passed away, but the pain still feels like an open wound. I remember the smell of his old books and the way he used to make me laugh with his silly jokes. My dad was my rock, my confidant, and my best friend. When he got sick, I dropped everything to care for him. I remember the first time I had to help him take a bath. He was so weak and frail, but he still managed to smile at me and say, "I'm sorry, kiddo." My siblings, on the other hand, only appeared when it was time to discuss the will. They would ask my dad about his assets and who would get what, and it would break my heart to see them so focused on material things. I recall one time my sister, Emily, asked my dad about his watch, and he just looked at her and said, "That's for Hannah." She looked at me with so much anger and resentment, but I just ignored her. As my dad's condition worsened, I was the only one who stayed by his side, holding his hand and talking to him, even when he couldn't respond. I remember the sound of the hospital machines beeping, the smell of the disinfectant, and the feeling of his frail hand in mine. One night, at 3 a.m., I was holding his hand, and he looked at me with tears in his eyes and said, "I'm sorry, Hannah, for not being a better father to you." I told him it was okay, that I loved him, and that I was just grateful to have him in my life. A few days later, my dad passed away, and the reading of his will was scheduled. My siblings and I arrived at the lawyer's office, and as we sat down, I could feel the tension in the air. The lawyer began to read my dad's last handwritten note, and as he spoke, I felt my heart sink. My dad had written, "I want my children to know that Hannah was the one who held my hand at 3 a.m., and I ask that you all be kinder to her than you were to your sister." The room went silent, and I could feel my siblings' eyes on me, filled with shame and regret. The lawyer continued to read, and it turned out that my dad had left everything to me, not because he wanted to favor me, but because he knew I was the only one who truly cared for him. As I walked out of the office, I was given a small box with my dad's worn watch inside. It was the only thing I wanted, the only thing that truly mattered. I put it on my wrist, and as I looked at it, I felt a sense of peace wash over me. I knew that my dad was finally at rest, and that I had done everything I could to make him proud. The reading room was silent, but I could hear my dad's voice whispering in my ear, "I'm proud of you, kiddo."